Hello students, I hope you are all doing good and I propose you all a very warm welcome to the 8th video lecturing session on financial markets and services. This subject is for the final year BBA students of Bangalore North University and Bangalore University as well. So we move further. So title of the class is financial markets, subtitle of the class is players in stock market. So this is a very interesting subject, concept, and definitely I assure you that you listen to it with a lot of curiosity and urge. So we move further. So we have quick recap on previous class. So in the previous class we had discussed about trading and settlement mechanism of stock exchange transactions. There we had almost 5 points. So the first stage was selecting a broker or sub-broker. The second point was opening a demat account, and placing orders was the third point. Execution of the orders was fourth point, and final settlement was the fifth point. So these are what we discussed in the previous class. We move to the further slide. We have session outcome and learning objectives of the chapter, that is chapter outcome. So chapter outcome we have already read it out in the previous sessions. It is same for all the sessions, and we have session outcome which is unique for every session. So we look into it. So the students will be able to know the various players in the secondary market. So, and one more assurance I can give you that you will have a lot of curiosity, and after the end of this session definitely you will acquire minimal knowledge that one should have for the practical exposure of the stock market and for the investing activities. So that much I can assure you. Please watch the session with lot of interest. So I move further. Players in stock market. So the very first player is Securities and Exchange Board of India, that is SEBI. And most of the participants that come here, we have already discussed about them, but in different contexts and angles. But we are going to discuss these participants in the context of secondary market, that is stock market. So that will be a little bit different compared to other contexts. So the very first one is Securities and Exchange Board of India. So what is this? What does it do? So Securities and Exchange Board of India, it was established in the year 1992, April 12th. So the Securities and Exchange Board of India is a government's entity. It is responsible for the regulation of financial markets in the country, in our India. The main function of SEBI includes the promotion of the securities market in India. So it promotes the securities market in India, and it protects the investors' interest and the regulation of all the activities that take place in the market. So it regulates the securities market, and it also promotes the security market. So SEBI is established under a separate act, that is Securities and Exchange Board of India's Act 1992. So this is what a brief on Securities and Exchange Board of India. So already we have discussed about it in the previous sessions, but here also it comes, we have got to speak about it. So let us move further. So we have stock exchanges. So who are these stock exchanges and what do they do? We'll look into it. It is very simple concept. So suppose you are in search of a house, either for the rental purpose or lease purpose, or for purchasing the ready built house. So whom do you go and approach? So usually you go and approach a real estate agency, or you go and approach a broker for rental purposes. Or nowadays a lot of websites have come, online based websites like nobroker.com for the rental houses, and many under magicbricks.com, and many websites have come for the search of the ready built houses. Similarly, if you want to purchase any financial instruments, you will go and approach. Where do you go and approach? You have the platform, of course. You go and approach through stock brokers. But what is the platform that is available for the purchase of instruments is stock exchanges. So stock exchanges in India are financial intermediaries that connect buyers and sellers and facilitate a trade of stocks listed on that stock exchange. Simple. ಮನೆ ಕೊಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸು ಹೇಗೆ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯೇ ಸೊ ಈ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಮಾರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ತಯಾರಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ಸ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮಾರಬೇಕಾದಂಥವ್ರು ಮಾರ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೊಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾದಂಥವ್ರು ಕೊಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ಸ್ನ ದೇ ಕೋಟ್. So there are two principal stock exchanges in India in Indian context, that is Bombay Stock Exchange, that is the oldest stock exchange in Asia, and National Stock Exchange. So these are the two predominant stock exchanges that are working in India. And the next player is depositories. Who is a depository? A depository allows you to store the dematerialized share certificates of the stock you own in a dedicated account. This account is known as a demat account. It's effectively a digital account that acts as a storage space for all the shares you hold in the electronic format. In India, there are currently two depositories that are operational. That is, the one is the National Securities Depository Limited, that is NSDL, and Central Securities Depository Limited, that is CDSL. Tumba Sarada. So suppose you have 1 lakh rupees. How do you hold it? Either you can hold it in the form of cash, or if you go to the bank and you can deposit there, that will be reflected in your account in the digital format. But when it comes to the share market, you cannot hold any physical format of the shares. Previously you used to get a share certificate, but nowadays only digital dematerialized format of shares will be given to you, and that will be reflected in your demat account. So that facility is given by the depositories, not only for the shares, even for the pension funds and mutual funds. Mutual funds is very less, so for the pension funds also, so your money is reflected in NSDL, that is depositories. Then the fourth participant we have is depository participants. It is very similar to depositories, but it performs a very separated task compared to the depositories. We will look what are these and who are these depository participants. So I have also provided a URL, so that I will explain. I will go to it later. So first I will explain who are depositories. A depository participant, a DP, is a registered agent who acts as an intermediary between you is nothing but the investor and the depository. So depository is the previous point. So as an investor, you cannot deal directly, or you cannot open a demat account directly with a depository. You are required to route all your transactions with a depository only through DP, that is depository participant. Iವರು ಯಾರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, so we have a list. There was a little bit connectivity problem. I have rectified it. So it takes you to the NSDL website. So these are you have the title called depository participants of NSDL. Okay, so there are close to 267 depository participants. They are listed under NSDL Security Depository. In a similar manner, for CDSL also there are close to 360 plus depository participants. They are registered under CSDL. So we approach to these depositories and we open a demat account with these people. Okay, so few of them which I know and visited are like Zerodha, Axis Bank, Securities, Bajaj Capital Limited, something like Carvey brokering firm. They are there. I can show you. So where is that Carvey? We go to Carvey Stock Brokering Limited. I know it. So there is something called Zerodha. See, Zerodha Securities Private Limited. So these people act as, these are the institutions. I can say it as these are also stock brokers. depository participants also work as stock brokering firms. So we go and approach these organizations and we open a demat account with the depositories. So we directly do not approach NSDL. Instead, we approach depository participant and we open a demat account with depositories. So ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ವಿ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಡು ನಾಟ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಡಿಪಾಸಿಟರೀಸ್, ವಿ ಓಪನ್ ಎ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ via depository participants. So next point is stockbrokers. Who are they? Stockbrokers are another section of financial intermediaries who play a vital role in stock markets. These entities are registered with stock exchanges as trading members. Basically, they act as a link between the stock exchanges and investors, that is traders like us. So to be able to buy and sell shares in stock market, you need to open a trading account with stock brokers of your choice. As I already told you, stock brokers also provide services of depository participants. Always depository participants need not be stock brokers, but majority of the times stock brokers work as depository participants. So a trading account gives you access to the financial markets and allows you to buy or sell stocks or other securities of a company. So this is the function or facilities that are provided by stockbrokers. The next participant we have is investors and traders. There are two participants. One point forms two persons. So who are they? They are investors like us on the stock market. There are several other individuals as well as institutions that buy and sell shares there. So we have two broad categories of investors and traders. So there are individual investors and traders and institutional investors and traders. Again, we have two broad categories in the investors and traders. They are in institutional investors, we have domestic institutional investors and foreign institutional investors. These two we have already discussed in the primary market, but these people will also come into the picture in the secondary market. And one more interesting thing about investors and traders is these are the main players for whom all other rest of the players will play. The next player we have is clearing corporations. Who are they? What do they do? So we'll look into it. So they help prevent defaults by ensuring the buyers have the necessary funds to pay for either for their trades, and the sellers are in possession of the assets they intend to sell. So if this clearing corporation do not perform this transaction, there may be a chance of getting into the fraudulent transactions. So suppose a person puts his intent for the purchase of the securities, but he may not be having sufficient funds, which will not be knowing to the seller. At the same time, opposite to it, a seller may not be having securities, but he puts his securities for the sale, even the buyer having his sufficient funds. So in order to eradicate this inconvenience, clearing corporation will ensure that the seller has in possession of the assets which he is intent to sell, and the buyer has the sufficient funds in his account for the intended purchase. So this is one task done by the clearing corporation. And there is one more task. They ensure that the funds and assets are transformed to the right accounts seamlessly. So buyers will not know who is selling, and the sellers will not know who is buying his respective shares. But the transaction will happen in such a way that the shares will reach out to the respective person's demat account, and the money will come to the respective person's trading account or bank account whose shares are bought and who has paid exactly money for that transaction. So this facility is performed by clearing corporation. India has two main such clearing corporations, namely they are National Security Clearing Corporation Limited, that is NSCCL. This is a subsidiary of National Stock Exchange. You have to remember. So NSCCL, that is National Security Clearing Corporation Limited. It is a clearing corporation entity and it is a subsidiary or stakeholder of, or it is managed by National Stock Exchange Limited. And we have one more clearing corporation, that is Indian Clearing Corporation Limited, that is ICCL, which is a subsidiary of Bombay Stock Exchange. So it's very interesting. Both the stock exchanges have their respective clearing corporations, again to capture the business, to encash the business which the business transactions which are happening in the jurisdiction of that particular stock exchanges. This is again a business trick. The next participant is banks. So what do they do? The role of banks in the stock market is quite clear. They help to ensure that you have the funds needed to carry out that your intended trade. The funds in your bank account are transferred to your trading account temporarily. So it is your trading account is like your current account. So you can buy financial assets without any hassle. To ensure that, what you have to do is to ensure the smooth and seamless trading experience, you have to link your demat account, your trading account, and your bank account. Your demat account is the place where your dematerialized digital share certificates are parked, and your trading account is like a current account where your funds are parked temporarily for the trading purpose, and the bank account is ordinary bank account in which your money is permanently parked. So these are the participants of the stock market. We'll move further. We have some quiz questions. So the first question is, two security depositories in India is, the options we have is SBI, IDBI, NSDL, CSDL, and the E option is both B and D. B is IDBI and D is CSDL. F option is both C and D. Whenever you attend some competitive examinations, questions will be given like this. You will know the answer, but again they will give you confusing combination of the options. The F is both C and D. C is CSDL and C is NSDL and D is CSDL. The right answer is F, that is both C and D. So C option is NSDL and D option is CSDL, National Securities Depository Limited and Central Securities Depository Limited are the security depositories that are working in India. So next question, expand NSDL. Already I have expanded. So the options we have like this: National Safety Depository Limited, National Stock Depository Limited, National Securities Depository Limited, National Share Depository Limited. So if you know the concept half, so you will be confused a lot. If you know the concept thoroughly, you will not be confused. Answer will be there, only you have to pick it up. So the right answer is National Securities Depository Limited, option C. So we go to the next question. So BSE is dash. Options we have is regulatory authority, investor, trader, stock exchange platform. So the right answer is stock exchange platform. So fourth question, which is the Asia's oldest stock exchange? Options we have is NSE India, BSE India, TSE Japan, HKSE China. The right answer is option B, BSE. It is in India. So fifth question we have is, who is the present MD of Managing Director of BSE? Options we have is Ashish Kumar Chauhan, Ashok Kumar Chaudhary, Anand Mahindra, Ashok Sharma. The right answer is Ashish Kumar Chauhan. This is not a static answer, a static GK question. It is a dynamic GK question. Over a period of time, persons keep changing. You have to update yourself. So this is the source of input that I have referred. So these are the textbooks, website I have visited. So you can just go through the sources of inputs I have mentioned here. Thank you. We will meet in the next session.